everybody, this is the Wikstrand. This is the actual cave here in this cave bar in Croatia. And today I'm going to review a movie directed by Adam McKay, that is in fact one of my favorite comedies of all time. It is an instant mega classic that I think is almost perfect. But let's find out what happens when an actual bunch of cavemen are trying to run a TV station in San Diego in the 1970s. This is Anchorman, the Legend of Ron Burgundy. Anchorman has the greatest opening line in comedy history because Will Ferrell just looks at his reflection and says, I'm looking good. I really look good. Hey everybody, come and see how good I look. And I was hooked from the very start. And I think that Anchorman is the greatest comedy that has been made since the turn of the millennium. There isn't even a pure comedy that is even close to being as good as this one is. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So we are in the 1970s and we are in San Diego. And Ron Burgundy together with Champ, Brick and Brian Fontana are enjoying themselves to the fullest. You see, they are the four pillars that the San Diego local news is built on. They read the news, they report the news and the weather, and they enjoy themselves. And it's a very simple premise. So we have four man-children who believes that they are a lot smarter and a lot more talented than they actually are. But they are really enjoying themselves, except of course when they have to deal with that pesky, rival news channel led by Vince Vaughn. But everything seems to be going great. But wait, what is that coming from the east? It is a dark cloud that descends upon San Diego. By the way, as we all know, was discovered by the Germans in 1904 and means a whale's vagina, according to Ron Burgundy. This dark cloud is not really a cloud, but it is a new co-worker. Veronica Corningstone, played by Christina Applegate, which makes everybody really unhappy and also very attracted to her. And as they say in the very shouty meeting, loud noises! I don't know what we're yelling about. And of course, apart from that, it is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady, as Champ points out. So now our heroic news team has a mission: getting rid of Veronica Corningstone and protect their treehouse from any interference by the ladies. So that is basically our story. Oh, by the way, it should also be mentioned that Veronica and Ron Burgundy, by the way played by Will Ferrell, of course starts a relationship on ever so slightly rocky ground, but that's not really the focus of the story. This movie is so simple, but this movie is so fantastic. So we have a news team. Brian Fontana, played by Paul Rudd, who is just so charming, such a douche and such a dunderhead. We have Brick, played by Steve Carell, in my favorite performance by Steve Carell ever, as the super straight man and complete idiot Brick, who just says stuff. I love carpet, I love lamp, I don't know, I'm riding a furry tractor, and stuff like that. We have Champ, played by David Koshner, which is arguably the least effective character and my least favorite actor of the four, but this is still his greatest performance of all time, because normally when I see him, he plays just a loud, obnoxious idiot. Here he plays a loud, obnoxious idiot who has some very great writing to him, so it kind of, covers that thing. But then we have to talk about Will Ferrell. He has been in a bunch of movies where I find him absolutely atrocious and I can't stand him. But here, the mixture is absolutely perfect. I love him in this movie. His comedic timing is second to none. What is that, Baxter? I'm in a glass cage of emotion. The Invisible Man was denied a bank loan and stuff like that. So he's fantastic. And Christina Applegate more than holds her ground in this one. So Anchorman is essentially just a fantastic collection of some of the funniest sequences I've ever seen, some of the greatest quotes I've ever seen, and of course that sequence in the middle of the movie that was so unexpected that the first time I saw it was like, what? what the fuck is happening? It is one of the funniest, most unexpected comedic sequences I have ever seen, where they have a lot of fun cameos who do a lot of outrageous things. This movie, despite being produced by Judd Apatow, clocks in at a ridiculously correct 94 minutes. It is 94 very well put together comedic minutes, because one of my regular complaints about comedies is that they are too long. Movies should not clock in at over 100 minutes if they want to be a good comedy. Usually I actually think that they shouldn't even clock in at 90 minutes. There is actually a couple of small sequences here and there which they could have trimmed, the flute playing and the sequences with the bear in the end. They could have been cut down just a little bit of trimming. But apart from that, there is barely any fat on this movie whatsoever. I love this movie from top to bottom. It is an absolutely comedic masterpiece. And not all people will like this as much as I do, but there are just these fantastic characters that elevate each other, because on their own they're funny, but together they are unstoppable. The brilliant writing of this movie, the pettiness of the characters, and the brilliant small little details that just elevates this thing up to 11. Hell, they even throw in an animated sequence in this movie, because why not? So, should you see this movie? Oh yes, oh double yes, because this is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I probably should, talk a little bit about the sequel that came out, I don't know, was it 9 years after this movie was made? I thought that movie was funny, but it was an unnecessary sequel and it's not nearly as funny as this one is. That one was a good comedy, this is a legendary comedy. Much like the man himself. You go, Roy Burgundy, and stay classy, San Diego. They even take the time to include these meaningless, pointless sequences in these movies, such as Brian Fontana's arguably greatest sequence in the movie, where he, displays his perfume that, 60% of the time it works all the time. That doesn't make any sense at all. It is a fantastic sequence, it is so funny, and it basically has nothing to do with the rest of the movie, but it is so funny, and it builds the character in such a fantastic way. So how do you rate the greatest comedy since the turn of the millennium? By giving it 97 points. This is an absolutely fantastic, almost perfect comedy. It has fantastic characters, it has fantastic jokes, great comedic timing, quotes for days, with a fantastic pace and a conveyor belt of great and unexpected cameos. Who could ask for more? So I'll see you next time for, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching, thank you very much!